Hey friends, Kevin here, and today we're going to talk about the 3 things I basically do before I buy a van, RV, or any other vehicle. Whether you want to call these tips or tricks or whatever, but I think you'll find this interesting. Hopefully you learn something that will help you out on your next purchase of a van or whatever you're going to use to camp with. Let's get to it. Now, buying from a dealership is a whole different ball game than buying from an individual. So let's talk about the individuals first, because you probably have seen their ad, you know the ballpark they're asking, you know you're going to be somewhere in that ballpark. If I'm dealing with a dealership, I do not drive the vehicle first. If I'm dealing with a private party, I do. Dealerships are taught to do this stuff in a different way. They want to get you behind the wheel of something and have you fall in love with it. That doesn't work with me. If I'm at a dealership until we have a deal that I can live with, I don't get to buy the vehicle and drive it, because if we don't have the right deal, I'm not going to buy it. So driving it is a waste of time. But dealing with an individual, a private party, is a little bit different. You don't want to rub those people the wrong way. I am going to, in that situation, I'm going to go, and if the vehicle is what it's supposed to be at first glance, then I'm going to drive it and do a little bit. I'm going to leave my vehicle there, and I'm going to ask permission to be gone with their vehicle for a while. I'm not interested in driving this thing around the block one time. I'm going to let them know that I may be gone an hour or two. I may run it by a garage, stop and get something to eat along the way, which is a good excuse to how you've killed time. Hey, I come over here, I haven't had lunch yet, so while I'm out, if you don't care, I may stop and get something to eat. I want an excuse to be out with that vehicle for a while. And I want to do that for a couple of reasons. If you found that useful, do me a favor and hit that like button. First of all is going to be that dandy check engine light. Now, if you know what these little devices are that garages use, you can buy these yourself. And these used to be quite expensive, and now you can pick one of these up, these code readers, for about $30 or $40. And any vehicle from whatever the year is, roughly 94 right on up, you're going to have a plug-in, usually somewhere under the dash, right under the steering wheel on the driver's side, to plug this in. It's self-powered. You're going to not start the vehicle, but turn the key on, and it's going to go through its little motion and read the error codes. If you don't know this, the other problem with these $30 devices that a lot of people have now is you can press a button on here and you can turn the engine error codes off. So if there was a check engine light on that vehicle and you have an unscrupulous seller, it's really easy for that seller to pop that check engine light off. And while I do not claim to be a mechanical expert, and it's different with different things, different brands, different models, roughly what happens when that check engine light is turned off, it will not reset and turn back on until it has problems and that vehicle has been started over and over and over again. And my understanding, and from experience, I think this is right, it can take up to 30 cycles for that to happen. So again, this is why I don't want to just drive this thing around the block and spend 2 minutes with it. At some point, I'm going to take this thing out, and while I have it out, I'm going to take it somewhere again where I'm around people in case something goes wrong. But I'm going to start this thing and turn it off. And I'm going to turn the key on and turn it off. And I'm going to do that 30 or 40 times. I'm going to go through that cycle. And I'm going to start that vehicle and let it run for a minute or two and turn it back off. And I'm going to do that dozens of times. Because I want to know if there's a problem. I want to know if there's an engine light that's going to kick on that then will start giving me error codes that I need to check and find out what the problem is with that vehicle, just in case that fine person or that fine dealer that you're dealing with decided to turn those codes off. While you're watching this video, if you go down the comments, tell us what good stories or bad stories you've had with buying vehicles that concerns these exact little things that I'm talking about in this video. So once I've done that, I've had it out, you know, I'm going to pop the hood, but quite honestly, a lot of these things, they've got a big flat panel over them. You really can't see too much anyway. There's not a lot you can get to even check on a lot of these newer vehicles, so it just makes it much tougher than it used to be. But you should be able to see the condition of the main drive belt that runs around all of the pulleys. It helps to have a little bag, and this is what I try to do. I try to take a little satchel with me that has things like this in it. It's going to have some newspaper in it because I'm going to shove some newspaper under that vehicle while I have it out, turning it on and off and on and on, testing it to see if anything drips out that I see hit that newspaper. Because it's much easier to do that than see something hit the ground or hit the pavement. Another thing is I would prefer to be doing my test drive during the day. It doesn't do me any good, although I have done this and I have bought a vehicle and taken a chance this way, on 6 o'clock on a Saturday evening or 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. But it does make it easier if you can do this at a time that little garages and shops are open. So if there's something that you question about the vehicle, you can run it in there, holler at somebody and go, hey, can you look at this for me real quick? You know, and be honest with them. Hey, I'm just test driving this vehicle. I need an opinion. And pay them their time and their knowledge. If they've got to come out there and they've got to jack your vehicle up, that vehicle up, to look at something, or they're nice enough to actually throw it up on a rack and lift it, pay those people, man. Hand them $15 or $20 and go, hey, you know, let me buy your lunch today, and I appreciate it. Because that is much less expensive than getting yourself burnt for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So if there's something going on, I want to know it. The main thing that's going to happen is you're going to run into suspension problems. And if you run into a vehicle that has a suspension problem, now you want to know what it is, and you want to know how expensive it's going to be to fix it. So you're okay with the vehicle. You think you're going to be okay on the price. You've driven it now. You're convinced there's nothing major going on with the engine. You're convinced there's nothing major going on with the suspension. You've now tested everything else in the car to make sure it blows cold, blows hot, all those things, radio controls, power windows, windows in the back. Make sure all of that stuff is working. Make sure all the heater controls and cooling controls are switching like they are supposed to. And you've made it to that point and everything seems fine and you've decided, hey, I want to buy this vehicle. This is the most important thing I could not stress enough, and I have a lot of people argue with me over this point. Spend $30. Yes, it's $30. Spend $30 and pull a Carfax. Not some generic something somebody's selling online for a few bucks cheaper. And yes, I can remember when a Carfax was $10 or $12, or you could buy a pack of them for $39, 5 of them for 39 bucks. But yeah, they're $30 a piece now. But the difference is they give you a lot more information now. And even if I'm dealing with a used car dealer and they come out and they, oh, we've got the Carfax and here you can see it's not been in an accident, it's not been in a flood and blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to see the maintenance records. And on Carfaxes now, there is a lot of that. I want to be able to see from the time that thing rolled off the assembly line in the factory it came from to the first owner. I want to see everything that was done, because most repairs done at a dealership will now be reported and be put on there. So you can see if this vehicle had a one-time problem, or if this vehicle, like some General Motors vehicles had about a decade back, where they had problems with brakes and rotors over and over and over and over again. And these things got replaced 3 and 4 times under warranty. Guess what? You're going to keep replacing these things when you're the next owner after the warranty's up. So I want to be able to see things like that. And it will tell you a lot of other things. Sometimes an alternator got replaced, a starter got replaced. It'll tell you when brake jobs were done, a battery got replaced a lot of times. Things that the owner may not have a receipt for, but you can still see when they were done. The other thing you're looking for is all of those annual inspections, because all of those annual inspections are going to show you the mileage at the time they were done. So you will know how much this vehicle was driven every year, and this is where you are going to find a discrepancy, if one exists, if someone has rolled back the mileage on the vehicle. And this crap happens way more than we would like to think it does. And I can tell you, I almost got burnt a couple of times with people that I did not think would burn me, that had the nice persona and well-dressed and nice vehicles, used vehicles, and the last step, I pulled that Carfax and found out that not only had the mileage been rolled back so they could get more money out of that vehicle than it was worth, but they had been the one to do it. It happened while they owned it. By the way, if you're new here, this is basically a van and travel channel, because I travel around the country at different times in one of 2 different vans. So we talk a lot about what vans to buy and how to maintain them and how to convert them into camper vans. And then some stuff are just travel videos and how to save money. But if you found this particular video useful, we hope you'll take a second, hit that subscribe button, so it'll make it easier for you to be able to see some of the other videos we have. You can also click right over to that main video page here and see a list of all the videos and see what information is there that may be able to help you out. So friends, most importantly, I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you learned something that you didn't know before. If you agree with me, I'd like to put that down in the comments. Just take a second and go, yes, I agree. If you think I'm wrong about something, you are certainly entitled to your opinion. Put that down in the comments too. Go, Kevin, I think you are wrong because. And let's get a little bit of a discussion going. Let's all learn from each other. If you're wondering what to watch next, you can always go to the description of any of these videos. You'll see some links for 5 or 10 other recent videos you may have missed, you may be interested in. Never hesitate to put in the comment of a video if there's something that I can do to help you out, and we'll talk soon.